3,000 handshakes, all of them very firm. 1,000 or so kisses, all of them a little less firm. And about 50 babies, one of whom was very wet.
Oh. And they say the political life isn't glamorous.
Oh, what a day. I'm sorry. Tonight was going to be just for us.
Well, you've got 3 more minutes, and then it will be for us.
How about a kiss?
You got any left?
Only about 1,000.
I claim all of them. One of your constituents coming back for seconds?
First things first. Oh, hold on. Don't move. I'll be right back.
Joy, glad I caught you in. You seen this?
No.
Well, take a look at the headline. I think you'll find it very interesting. I'm sorry, Terry. I know I'm busting in here, but this is important.
Congressional candidate Wainwright stirs controversy with racial slurs.
We can talk. Please. This is important.
All right. Talk.
Can we go somewhere where we can really talk? Your room?
Look, well, are you feeling all right?
I feel a lot better when I say what I have to say.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes?
Ann Corrali, New Zenith Incorporated.
Yes?
I'd like a few moments of your time, if possible,
What for?
for something that will definitely be to your advantage.
Oh, Miss
Corrali.
Corrali. It's evening. This is my home. I have an office. I have a secretary. It is that charming lady's responsibility to arrange all business appointments. Now, if you'll excuse me.
I've been to your office, Mr. Carpenter, and I've spoken to your secretary, as well as to Mr. Sumner.
Huh?
Perhaps once you hear what I have to say, you'll wish to reprimand them for not paying a little more attention to me.
Or commend them for keeping us apart.
Either way, you'll never know unless you give me a chance to explain.
All right?
Thank you.
Now, with what does New Zenith Incorporated wish to impress me? Well, other than yourself, that is.
Do you think this is some sort of setup?
Could be. An attractive young lady comes to my door at night.
Oh, is that why you let me in, Mr. Carpenter? Do you have some thoughts about how you're going to use the situation to your advantage?
No.
Well, it might interest you to know that the tactic New Zenith chose was to send you its president, as well as its chief engineer. Mr. Carpenter, I've developed a method of loading and unloading ships that will save you millions of dollars.
The mood at Wainwright's campaign headquarters was unquestionably grim. All refused to comment. Hugh Wainwright's unavailability for a statement was explained away by unexpected and sudden business in Richmond. Well, Lord knows I've said a lot of things that I wouldn't want to read on the front page of the Chronicle.
No, we all
but to
have.
be so crude, so prejudiced.
Yeah, he didn't leave any minority untouched, did he?
No.
Wish I could say I was surprised. Look, I know that sounds terrible, but look at the way he acted about the Rape Crisis Center. And the things he said about the poor when you talked to him. Now, the only word I can think of to describe it is contempt. And he certainly made no effort to conceal that. I think that that was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't like what it may do for the rest of the campaign. It may open the doors for a lot of very unpleasant tactics.
Well, I certainly can't be responsible for what other people do.
No. But we're not going to take advantage of this article in any way, shape, or form.
Don't worry. Your instructions about no mudslinging are emblazoned on the insides of my eyelids.
So what are you going to say when the media calls to get your reaction?
Well, if the media calls, I'll think of something.
If Lee Carruthers is quoted.
But Lee Carruthers is considered a major candidate. I'm not. It's as simple as that.
Hey, we're up to 11% in the latest polls, and gaining. Tell you the truth, I don't think it matters how you react or don't react to Wainwright's racial slurs. This kind of press is bound to underscore that you are a candidate of integrity. And it's too bad this isn't a two-man race between you and Wainwright. They would certainly take your reaction seriously then. Wouldn't they, Terry?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I think I'll make us some coffee.
They will take me seriously, Harold. They will.
Ladies, good to see you again. Where's your sidekick, Redland?
Oh, Mr. Wainwright.
Well,
He obviously isn't here.
obviously.
Did you look for him at the newsroom or at his house?
Yes, both places. Unfortunately, the man at the city dump said the only residents he could locate all had 4 legs and long tails. I told him I was sure one of them would answer to the name Gene Redland, but he wasn't willing to try.
You're in rare form, Mr. Wainwright. I'm sure when you finish your career in politics, you could get a job as a stand-up comic. Of course, if you're really serious about it, your material will have to be more elevating than the jokes that appeared on the front page of today's Chronicle.
And you who work for that delightful scandal sheet are more than willing to help me get that second career, aren't you?
Sorry, I don't work there anymore. But they do have a tendency to print facts when they come along, yes?
That's not the way I see it. I'd say they're more than willing to print anything at all to help your father's congressional campaign.
Is that the way you see all this?
Yes.
Then I feel sorry for you. You've been stung by your own arrogance. There's nothing more involved here than that.
What's involved here, Miss Phillips, are political dirty tricks of the lowest kind, and your father is a willing participant.
You want something to drink?
No, thanks. But if you want something, I
No.
can... Oh, started the fall semester already, huh?
Last week.
How did your summer courses go?
They let me start the fall semester.
Good. So, how are you feeling?
Compared to what?
Well, I mean, are you getting good care? I mean, your doctor.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He isn't Marcus Welby, but then Marcus Welby isn't Marcus Welby anymore.
Is everything going smoothly? No problems, are there? I mean, you know...
I know what you meant. No problems physically, no.
So, have you talked to the people at the adoption agency yet?
No, I haven't. And, I'm not going to either. My attorney's the only one I'm going to talk to about this baby.
Oh, come on, Tina, don't.
Look, don't what? My price for lying for you in court is your support of this child. Now, if you won't do it voluntarily, then I've got no other choice but to go through with the paternity suit.
Tina, I'm not the father.
That's not the point. It's an exchange of favors.
Tina, but one favor is so much bigger than the other.
I don't think so. Now, what I want compared to what you have is quite small.
Tina, I am not talking about money, and you know it. If I make some sort of settlement with you, it's an admission of guilt. It's a lie.
We're right back to where we started. Exchange of favors. One lie for another.
I'm sorry, Tina, but I just can't live like that anymore. Things have changed.
Oh, that's very convenient, Vaughn. Get what you want and then change the rules.
What I did before was it was wrong.
Maybe so, but the piper still has to be paid, as the saying goes. Look, regardless of what you are now, you're still responsible for what you were. Look, Vaughn, I don't pretend to understand what it is you've committed to. I've been talking to some of your new friends. I know about this religious thing, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it's great. If it feels good, do it.
It's a little more complicated than that.
I know you see it as a step towards maturity and acceptance of a better way of living, a new worldview.
Actually, I see it more as just common sense.
Common sense, well, that's good. Now, doesn't common sense mean accepting reality, letting go of foolishness? But Vaughn, can't you see how foolish it is for you to work things out with Courtney now? I mean, your new faith helps you to see that, doesn't it? Look, Vaughn, just hear me out.
No, you totally misunderstood everything.
No, I haven't. Look, I can be very objective. I can see things that you can't.
Tina, all you can see in this are your interests. No one can really be objective.
I hope you're including yourself in this.
Yes, I am.
Well, it doesn't sound like it.
Look, Tina, I am aware that I have blind spots, but I also am aware that I have something else now. Something that makes those blind spots less critical.
There's still blind spots.
Tina, please, come on.
Look, Vaughn, why did you come looking for me tonight?
Because I'd like to make some kind of a settlement with you.
You have my terms.
Tina, they're unacceptable.
It's too bad.
Tina, what you're doing, you know it could very well mean the end of any possibility of Courtney and I getting back together.
Look, don't blame me for that.
I am not blaming you. I am just saying that
Yes, you are. You are blaming me. Vaughn, you can deny it. You can coat it in religious platitudes, but it all comes down to the same thing. You refuse to accept any responsibility in what's happened. You refuse to see how any of this is connected. Blind spots are still blind spots. They're all critical. Look, you have deluded yourself into thinking that you've overcome so much when actually you have made giant steps backwards.
Tina, you're only saying this because you're angry.
I'm only saying this because it's the truth.
You know, I knew I was taking a chance tonight. I knew that it could very well happen that you would interpret my coming over here as my wanting you. I am sorry, Tina. That just was not meant to be.
Are we hiding behind fate now?
I am not hiding behind anything. I am protecting what is rightfully mine. My feelings for Courtney have never been stronger. And I know for a fact that someday we'll be together again. I'm sorry, Tina. Good night. I wish this hadn't worked out like this.
Hey, Vaughn, here's a little bit of reality for you. Your darling, precious, innocent wife is making a few changes of her own. She's having an affair with Dan Myers.
Dirty tricks aren't my father's style, Mr. Wainwright. Don't assume that others' actions match your own.
I'll go back to something I told you before, young
No
lady.
one ever accused you of being original.
And I'll wade through your childish insults to say it. It's my belief that Lee Carruthers and your father have entered into some sort of alliance.
Then I'll go back to something I've already said before. That is ridiculous.
Why?
Because my father's no fonder of a politician the likes of Lee Carruthers than he is of
Of me?
Those are your words, not mine.
He's already said as much to my face.
My father is a man of principle. The kind of strategy you're talking about goes against everything he believes.
And you're privileged to know everything he believes and does.
I don't have to. I know his frame of reference.
That sort of statement only exposes your youth and immaturity.
And the racial slurs you've made lately expose you for what you are, a hypocrite.
Unfortunate comments, perhaps. But a man doesn't get as far as I have without having developed some well-honed survival skills. I've fought for 12 years with the best of them, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, I'm convinced there's a political conspiracy afoot, and somehow your father is part of it.
So far, all you've given me are your feelings. Do you have any facts?
You tell me who your source was for that piece of garbage on your front page, and you'll have the first one.
I told you I didn't have anything to do with that article.
I'd be willing to bet almost anything I have that it was a person or persons very friendly to your father. I thought so.
I didn't say whether it was or it wasn't.
You didn't have to, Miss Phillips. Now, I'd like his name.
This is all wild speculation.
Is it?
Yes.
Fact number 2. Where is the money that supports your father's campaign coming from?
I hardly consider a question a fact.
In politics, a well-asked question is very often as useful as a fact.
Probably because in your profession there is no such thing as a well-answered question.
Your sarcasm is charming, my dear, but the question still stands.
Private citizens.
Private citizens? An excess of $50,000 overnight, unasked for? Doesn't that strike you as the least bit odd?
My father is well liked.
By people who can't afford to give away 50 cents, let alone $50,000. I say that money originated with Lee Carruthers somehow and is being fronted by some organization.
All right. If a question is as good as a fact to you, answer the biggest one of all. Why? What would it benefit Lee Carruthers to support my father?
You really are naive, aren't you? The votes your father's getting are coming from me, not Lee Carruthers. Carruthers wants me to lose votes while he remains the same, so that he'll be able to win the election. It's called winning by a plurality.
My father would never be a party to what you're suggesting. I don't buy it.
And I don't believe you. He may not be a party to it knowingly, but he's a party to it all the same. If you'll excuse me.
And so, as you can see, with our highly automated process of unloading, the need for warehouses is all but eliminated.
And how do these trucks work?
Well, the actual trailers are what the goods are shipped in. Now, when the ship pulls up to the dock, the cranes simply pick the trailers up and place them on the flatbeds of the waiting trucks. And the product is on its way to being delivered in a matter of minutes, literally.
And this computerized inventory.
Ah, the best part of the whole system. Everything is monitored, scanned electronically. So anything that's being transferred doesn't even see the light of day. Theft is almost completely eliminated. And I don't think I need to point out the benefits of that.
Yes, yes. But why me? I mean, according to this, the copyright on this system was issued almost 3 years ago. If it is so good, why hasn't any other company picked up on it before now?
Well, expense. Or more accurately, the expense of adapting their docks to accommodate it. You're building new ones. Make them 20 feet wider, make a few other small changes that will allow them to withstand the stress, and the system becomes a very affordable reality.
And of course, my company's current plans also make it a very affordable reality.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Mr. Carpenter, I am very familiar with your ideas for Comtrans Express, but the fact is, you're starting a new shipping company in an area where there are already too many shipping companies.
Well, if you want to compete, you go where the competition is.
True, and your premise of being smaller and more aggressive is a sound one, but...
Not sound enough?
Well, it's not a risk I'd like to take. At least, not without something that would give me the competitive edge.
Like your system.
Exactly.
Well, there's no doubt that your system does have some advantages. I mean, a tertiary examination quickly reveals that, but also it has some inherent risks of its own.
Yes, but there's one other advantage that isn't listed there. Now, your plan involves hiring, roughly 1,000 people, right?
Yes.
With this system, you would only have to hire 150. 150 employees to staff Comtrans Express instead of 1,000. Shall we talk about the economics of that?
150. Incredible.
To say the least. Of course, many of them will have to be skilled engineers or computer technicians, But your payroll will still be significantly reduced.
Yes, undoubtedly.
Now, that's the kind of extra edge I'm talking about. And when you consider that, the risks suddenly don't seem, well, very risky.
They are considerably reduced, yes.
And I don't think I need to point out to you, Mr. Carpenter, that as a businessman, it is your obligation to use whatever means you can to get ahead.
Did you hear what I said, Vaughn? Dan Myers has been sleeping with your wife.
That isn't true.
Yes, it is, and I'll tell you something else, too. She started it. She asked him.
No.
Look, grow up, Vaughn. This is exactly the kind of thing I've been talking about right from the start. It's over between the two of you, and she's just doing this with Dan to prove that
No,
to
Tina,
you.
you've made a mistake. Now, there's obviously been a misunderstanding between what...
It's hard to misunderstand words like overwhelming, exciting, thrilling. I mean, that's the way Dan described the affair to me. He also told me what Courtney's reaction was. You want to hear it, Vaughn?
No, stop it. It's a lie. You know it's a lie.
No, it isn't. Look, why? Why do you keep on loving her? Why can't you love me? Vaughn, I love you so much. I can make you so happy. Look, does this God you say you believe in now want you to go back to a wife who hates you? I can't believe that. And frankly, I cannot believe that you do either.